Citroen is to return to its traditionalist roots, it needs a big, plush, comfort-orientated, quirky flagship model, which potentially is exactly what we've got with this car, the unusual but rather pleasing C5 X. It's an unusual confection, but the right kind of customer might rather like it.
So many family cars these days seem to a greater or lesser degree to feel the need to be sporty. The C5 X doesn't, prioritising ride over handling, refinement over driving involvement. If those are your priorities too, you might well like it very much in either of the two forms Citroen's offering in our market. We're trying the conventional variant here, which uses a 130 horsepower version of the Stellantis Group's usual 1.2 litre 3-cylinder PureTech petrol engine, mated to an 8-speed EAT8 auto transmission. In this guise, the car gets the passive version of Citroen's clever, progressive hydraulic cushion suspension system, which sees hydraulic dampers replace the usual rubber bump stops that the suspension coil would normally crash against at the top and bottom of wheel travel. As a result, over poorer surfaces, though you still know the bumps are there, you just don't feel them to the extent you'd expect to. The C5 X alternative is a 225 horsepower 1.6 litre petrol plug-in hybrid powertrain in a model which compensates for its extra 304 kilos of weight by the extra fitment of that suspension system in more advanced active form. With that, a system of sensors scan and evaluate the condition of the road surface as you drive, preparing the springs for bumps and undulations before you reach them, which is just enough to make this Citroen a rather lovely thing to travel in. The PHEV model offers a potential 39-mile EAER-rated EV driving range from its 12.4 kilowatt-hour battery, and you can drive at speeds of up to 84 miles an hour in the car's electric drive mode. At which point, it's pretty quiet, but then all C5 X's are, aided by acoustic windscreen glazing, which extends out to the front side windows in this top-spec model. This PureTech 130 can't, of course, match the tax-beating efficiency figures of its PHEV showroom stablemate, but it performs creditably enough, managing up to 48.6 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 137 grams per kilometre of CO2. Well, it looks a bit different, doesn't it? Depending on your perspective and what angle you view it from, this is either a crossover, a big estate, or a luxury large hatch. The looks and the interior are inspired by the CXexperience concept car of 2016, but all the engineering underneath is based on the usual Stellantis Group EMP2 chassis underpinnings. From the side, that pleasantly confusing design brief melds into something you might find quite appealing. There's the stretched 4.8 metre profile of a sports estate and the bigger 19-inch wheels with black clad arches that you'd find, together with a higher ride height and a contrast-coloured roof, on a modern lifestyle SUV. Yet, at the same time, there's the coupe-style sloping rear roof and high waistline of a luxury lift-back hatch. The front, as you've seen, has plenty of overtaking presence, with bold chrome central chevrons that extend outwards to emphasise the width of the car, flowing into this V-shaped LED light signature. There's plenty going on at the rear too, where designer Frédéric Angibaud has decided that the steeply raked tailgate needs two spoilers, both black finished. The upper winged one is for aerodynamics, while the lower one is more for braking stability. But does it all amount to little more than a Peugeot 508 in a more unusual set of clothes? Well, you won't think so once you take a seat inside. Here, the brand has tried, with some success, to make things a little different. For a start, the seating position is surprisingly commanding, set 10 centimetres higher than it would be in a conventional D-segment saloon or estate. Whether it's all truly Citroen-esque is another question. The plump seats, the unusual 3-spoke wheel, and the 7-inch binnacle display's digital speedo graphics try to be, but ultimately there are just too many shared Stellantis Group parts, primarily this 12-inch centre screen and much of the switchgear, To make this spacious-feeling cabin a true quality match for premium brand models. It's not without appeal though, this smart, light, wood-style central trimming strip that widens into the doors, the pleasing soft-touch textures of the dash top and the grey chevron-stitched faux leather door panels all please. The seats we mentioned, as usual with a modern Citroen of this size, are of the advanced comfort kind, which means that they feature particularly broad bases, foam that's 15mm thicker than usual for extra support, plus extra quilted padding to create an inviting visual signature that doesn't disappoint once you squish yourself into place. There's loads of cabin storage space too. Designer Pierre Leclerc says that the C5 X is a car you'll not only want to drive, but also one you'll want to be driven in as well. Well, let's see how the rear seat facilitates that. We'd hope that the rear of this car might replicate the vibe of the old Citroen C6, which could be had with lovely TGV high-speed train-style individual rear seats with electric sliding and reclining mechanisms, or at least failing that, the sliding and reclining rear seat arrangement from the closely related C5 Aircross SUV. In the event, the C5X's conventionally fixed rear bench serves up neither, so it won't suit French ministerial types wanting to relax in the rear with a copy of Paris Match as they're whisked down the Champs-Élysées. On the plus side, and like many models in this class, it would be possible to cram in a centre-seated adult without too much discomfort, who'd appreciate the notably low centre transmission tunnel. Not so good are the headrests, which are of the sort that dig uncomfortably into your shoulder until you raise them. You might also object to the fact that the optional glass roof doesn't extend far enough back to benefit those at the rear, and that the Isofix child seat brackets are awkward to access behind zips and obscured by vegan leather. Let's finish as usual with a look out back. Now, you have to stretch right up to top spectrum to get this motorised tailgate, which is a pity as it's rather heavy. Once it raises, you're faced with a load compartment that resembles that of an estate car, thanks to its apparently vast size and these 4 luggage runners embedded into the floor. With this test car's conventional engine, there's 545 litres available, a figure which falls to 485 with the plug-in hybrid version. Flattening the rear seat back is done via these cargo sidewall catches, though the backrests don't fold down anywhere near flat. The space freed up, though, 1,640 litres here, or 1,580 with the hybrid, should be sufficient for the needs of most owners. Take a good look at this Citroen C5 X. Outside of France, you're not likely to see many, which is strange because this car actually delivers a lot of what plenty of people look for in a model of this size, all in a very well-priced, extremely versatile package. Everything here, though, we've seen before. The multi-genre style concept from BMW, the engineering from Peugeot, the suspension system from DS. Combining all of that, though, does create an undeniably pleasing Gallic confection, and even if the exterior design approach is derivative, it's been delivered with a flair of a puff of Gauloise. Let almost everyone else in the sector sign on the dotted line for something dull and probably German. Instead of that, go and try one of these. Be different, just as Citroen is now once more trying to be.